essay called "Screw You, Kenny Rogers, I'm the Gambler." Right? I guess you might say that I come from a family of gamblers. But before you get too titillated or worried for my well-being, I should warn you that we're very, very, very low stakes. When I was a kid, my mom used to bring football betting cards home from the elementary school where she taught. The cards were illicit, which I thought was pretty cool. And I used to imagine the drop happening in the teacher's lounge, where our family friend and the school guidance counselor would take my mother aside, give her the cards, and she would hand over cold, hard cash for my dad, brother, sister, and me to lay down some pigskin prognostication. My mom's father, along with some of his brothers, had been a bookie in Brooklyn in the early 40s until Mayor LaGuardia cracked down on crime and my grandpa Bert traded placing bets for selling shoes. But my mother didn't take any action herself. Nope, she did it all for us. Isn't that sweet? Right? So growing up on every given Sunday during football season, I was allowed to risk $1 to try my luck on 3 teams and their point spreads. I averaged about a win a season, raking in about $12, so I usually wound up being a wash in the profit-loss department. But when my mom stopped teaching, we weren't a part of the school betting ring anymore, so our family's wise guy phase went dormant for a while, just like Grandpa Bert back in the day. But not to despair. I'm pretty sure that by the time he went to college, my brother had a bookie and my dad was in on it. But it wasn't until I drove cross-country with my friend Eric when I was 22 that I hopped back in the speculating saddle. Eric and I drove around America in his Dodge Colt named Althea after the Grateful Dead song, and each morning we'd each pitch in $20 for that day's food, gas, and beer. We spent several weeks on the road, visiting friends in national parks, sleeping on couches and campsites in Motel 6s. But when we got to Vegas, we stayed with my cousin Kenny, a professional gambler given a nickname by a fellow poker player who, after seeing Kenny spread his arms and rake in a pot, said that he swooped down on piles of chips like a skyhawk. Yeah, Skyhawk was my kind of guy. I was going to be pretty broke when I got home from my summer on the road, so when Kenny suggested we play blackjack, I said, "Yes, Skyhawk, sir." And within minutes, with Kenny card whispering over my shoulder, I was raking it in like Bugsy goddamn Siegel. That is, if Bugsy played with dollar chips. Yes, I was earning beer money for days until the pit boss made Kenny just like that. I tried to get off one more hand before we'd be thwarted, but alas, it was not to be. "Kenny, what are you doing?" the pit boss asked. "You know you can't be here." "I'm with my cousin," Kenny said. "I'm not doing anything." But the dealer stopped dealing and we were told to leave. See, Kenny was a pro, so he couldn't play for fun, thus ending my winning streak nearly as quickly as it began. I took my chips, not enough to Skyhawk, sadly, and we left the casino. In the ensuing years, I dabbled in a little sports book and fantasy football, and I'd occasionally hit the OTB in Nyack during horse racing season with my friends who lived there. But my bread and butter was online, where I stuck mainly to football, but occasionally went all in some other places too. It's funny, when, as a woman, you tell men that you like to lay some money down from time to time, they don't quite know what to make of you. They're somewhat attracted and slightly repelled by a lady who likes to place a bet, just like they tend to be unsure of women running companies or running for president. So it's really fun to tell them and watch their conflicted reactions. Like the time my friend Gina invited her cousin to dinner with us. I had never met Thomas, but upon his arrival, I could tell by the way he kept stealing glances at his phone that he, like yours truly, had a little something riding on that night's NBA playoff game. "What's happening down there?" I said, gesturing to the phone on his knee under the table. "You got a little something going on?" "Just a little," he said. "Me too," I replied, and his eyes grew wide. "5 large," I added with a nod and a smile. "A nickel?" he asked, impressed. "Wow, I only dropped a C-note." "Well, good luck to us," I said, holding up my martini to cheer against his rum and coke. Thomas diligently provided score updates throughout dinner. I needed to hit the over, which was proving to be a slog. And as the clock ticked and the score stalled, Thomas felt what should have been my pain. Finally, he broke the news. He had won, but I had lost, and he was pretty upset for me, which was kind of sweet. That's okay, I said, no biggie. You're taking this really well, Thomas said. It's only 5, I shrugged. 5 large, he said, and I finally landed the coup de grace that I had been waiting for. $5, I said, and I thought his head was going to pop off of his body. He looked at me completely flummoxed and mouthed the words, $5, but no sound escaped his lips. Poor Thomas didn't say another word the rest of the night, but I told him it was lovely to meet him and thanked him for keeping me up to date on the score. He just nodded and left the restaurant, never to be seen or heard from, by me anyway, again. Still, I sometimes imagine him shuffling down a crowded street, either at dawn or midnight, dressed in rags and muttering to himself, $5, it was only $5. I'm not sure why, and maybe that night had something to do with it, but I've kind of been on a wager hiatus ever since. Maybe it's a thing we Sunday gamblers go through. You have some hot streaks and some fun, and then you lie low for a while. But for now, I like having my dinners with friends back and not having to worry about covering point spreads. I admit, though, it's nice to know that if I change my mind and decide to get back into the family business, I've still got 10 large waiting for me. That's $10, mind you, not 10 grand. And there it will sit until I come out of retirement, swoop down on my keyboard like a skyhawk into my online account, ready to roll the dice one more time on whatever harmless fun I might find when I get back in the game. Thanks.